It's crazy, the energy that gets clogged up when we're not being honest, the energy that gets blocked when we're not really doing what we want.
Hello, goddesses! Welcome to another episode of Goddess Hangs.
Episode 41.
Woo! I'm Sadie.
I'm Juliet.
And we started this podcast to make the woo-woo world the world of mindset, manifestation, magic. Nailing the intro. More relatable and fun! We'll get in sync here. It's okay. Yeah. Everybody, we're feeling silly today.
I have the giggles big time.
It's been an exciting week that is getting more exciting by the minute.
Agreed.
When this episode airs, we will be in New York, but we are flying out tomorrow early morning, and we're recording at night, and we
just not really packed.
Yeah, we're flying by the seat of our pants here. We don't have an episode planned. We thought, let's sit down, let's talk. I've got a lot of huge life updates.
We're gonna do a big. Imagine if I was like, that's all good and well, but let me tell you about this new thing I found on the street. No,
we do want to know what's new with you, Juliet.
I'm going to go second because I can't concentrate right now. I don't know what's new with me. I'm having a day. I
wrote some notes down because...
smart woman.
I forget because I said for relationship because I was reading my notes. For example, I forgot something in my last catch-up that was funny.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this was 2 weeks ago when we the last time we did a What's New With You.
Catching up on the catch-up.
So if you haven't listened to 2 episodes ago... update.
Do it.
I did do it. I was in Chicago with my boyfriend Craig, and
she had a little plant snack.
Yeah, I had a.
It rhymes with mushrooms. Mushrooms. Sadie had some mushrooms.
I had some mushrooms. I thought I was taking like a microdose, but it was not a microdose. Story of my life. Every time I think I'm microdosing something, I get high. But will I ever learn? No.
Stay tuned.
And I was at Craig's show, and I was laughing so hard. And he was on stage, and it looked like he was a bobblehead doll. Like his head was like so big, and his body was so small, and it was so funny. But I forgot part of the story that was so outrageous.
Okay.
Because everybody. If you're driving, don't do this, but everybody close your eyes for a moment and pretend you're me, Sadie, in Zany's Comedy Club in Chicago, Illinois. You're high on mushrooms. Okay. You just ran back up into the green room because you are afraid to meet the fans because you're high. And so, you're sitting on your phone for a while. And when you swipe, if you've got an iPhone and you swipe over... and there's that news top stories stuff. Okay, well, remember, again, you're high on mushrooms, and the trending news you see is I screenshotted it. I need to find it. It more or less says a cow in a car in Wisconsin, and I go, I'm from Wisconsin. I'm going to click on that, as one does. I'm from a small town in Wisconsin, okay? I'm clicking on a People magazine top trending stories, and I'm high on mushrooms. And I click this article, and it says, in Marshfield, Wisconsin, where I grew up, a small town that nobody knows existed. It says, in Marshfield, Wisconsin, someone captured this Buick with a baby calf in it in the McDonald's drive-through line. And there's a picture, and I can see the background. It's my hometown. And I'm like, am I making this up right now because I'm high on mushrooms, or am I really reading this? So I screenshotted it. We'll put it here so you can see.
The cow.
And so I'm freaking out. And so I text my friends, and I'm like, I'm really high right now. Am I reading this right? Is this... Marshfield, Wisconsin? I'm texting my hometown friends, and then they're all, geeking out laughing too. And they're like, wait, I wonder if we know the person that had the cow in their car, because it's a small town and we know people. So I've still been meaning to ask my dad if he knew who had a cow in their car, but they had a little baby cow in the back seat of their Buick. And there was a video of it, and it made People magazine phone top trending stories. And I was just, I couldn't believe it. And then I was trying to explain it to Craig, but he was like talking to
He's like,
friends.
I'm working.
Yeah, like he came up with all the other common buddies, and they were all hanging. I was like, hey babe. I was like elbowing him. I was like, can I tell you something? And he was like, oh, in a minute, babe. Okay. And I was like, oh, seriously, I need to tell you this right. I'm like, I need to tell you this right now. I'm like freaking out, man. He's like, you're okay. And then he wasn't that amazed when I told him. I was like, you don't get it. You grew up in LA. LA is always on the news.
I think we need to create a phrase, like, you know how people say, you know, kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean when there's a cow in the car?
Like, that's just another cow in the car.
Like maybe it's like an iron on the fire, or like good news is coming, or
unexpectedly good news.
I think so. And you know, people say a cash cow. Mm-hmm. A cow in the car.
You know what that sounds like? A cow in the car, like the cat in the bag.
The cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag.
The cow's out of the car.
The cow's in the car.
Comment below. What should that mean? Oh, I love that.
So that I had to. I forgot to tell you guys that.
What else is new with you, Sadie lady?
Well, I got to do. When this comes out, it'll be last week, but this week I got to do not one podcast, not two podcasts, but 3 podcasts.
Count them.
So you're going to want to listen to all these episodes. The first one I was on was my boyfriend Craig's community service with Craig Conant. And I just got nervous. We did a podcast episode to kind of open up and come clean, not come clean, but kind of about
let the rain
fall down and wake my dreams, let it wash away the sanity.
Okay, sorry, you just said come clean, and in the middle of your big reveal I sang Hillary Duff.
So we were talking about our relationship because we actually, I think people don't know this or realize this, but we had a really, really hard past year. And we dive into all of this in depth on the podcast episode. But so I want you guys to just go listen to that, because I'd rather you see us together talking about it than me talking about it on here. So I know I'm being mysterious, but I want you to kind of learn what we've all been him and I have been going through the past year from there while we're talking about it together. But the interesting thing, and you're gonna be like, well, how did you come to that? Is that we've now decided to have an open relationship.
Open relationship.
So I want you guys, your homework is to go listen to that episode and learn all about how we arrived at that interesting thing. And I'm going to be kind of mysterious about that, I think, because I want you, again, like, there's a lot of ups and downs and hard stuff that got us to that conclusion. And I prefer you watch us together so that you don't get the wrong idea about like how we arrived at where we are. So we're super happy, Craig and I. We had a hard year and we came to this interesting, unique solution, and we've both just been feeling so much lighter, happier, closer. And I'm just excited. Like, it's something, having an open relationship is something I always like thought about in past relationships, but I was always too scared to like say, I thought it was wrong. That I wanted that, and like that was bad, and that like I was like, oh, I'm just like, I don't know, like I'm bad, or like I'm in the wrong, like I shouldn't think that. There's something wrong with me to like think like that. And Craig had kind of said it as a joke, and I was like, well, what do you actually think about that? So we're giving that a try, and I'm very excited. We have, rules. Of course, anyone that we are seeing outside of our relationship should definitely know that we're in an open relationship so we don't hurt others, and other rules that you can learn all about in his podcast episode. So go listen to it. Listen to us talk about it together. But that's like a fun, very big, new, exciting thing in my life. Yes. Very juicy. And I'll definitely like talk about it more on here, but I just kind of want the dust to settle of us like kind of coming out of the of the closed relationship causing into the open one.
Yes. And I will say, I think it's awesome that you're pointing our listeners to that episode, because I listened to it this morning. It's like an hour-ish long. And it was very cool. And I just felt like so much love and support for both of you.
Good,
and
I'm glad. We were very nervous, but
it was really, really well done.
good. I'm glad to hear. He was more nervous than me, but that's because he did some stuff.
Yeah, you'll find out.
But just know, and you can tell, that's why I want you to listen to him and I talk together, is just that like we're arriving at a very like healed, good place. And I'm glad that it worked out exactly as it did. And we're both just, we're still working through some of the stuff, the old stuff, but it just feels so much lighter and so much happier now. And it's pretty incredible that once you just be honest with yourself about what you really want, even if it goes against convention and other people go, oh, that's not going to work, or, oh, like, oh, you must just be waiting for something better to come along if that's your solution or whatever. And it's just like, no, this is actually just what two people want. And that's it. Like, we love each other and want each other, and we also want this. And like, that's it.
I think we'll circle back to that, what you literally just said about like, if you want something that goes against convention, we'll talk about that more later, because that's been on my mind recently too, in other ways. But yeah, I just love seeing Sadie Lady so happy. That's my priority as a friend, and I love Craig very much, and so I'm just so happy at all. And it was cool to like, I won't say what happened, but to see the narrative play out in a different way than we're all used to seeing the narrative play out.
Yeah, that's why I really wanted to share the story. And then of course, as two people in an open relationship that will be seeing other people, we just kind of wanted it out there publicly, so no one feels the need to like DM him if they see me out, Sadie. Or DM me if they're with him, or see him doing something, because it's like, oh, we know, but we don't want to know. But like, we don't need to know. It's like, we know, but no. So
mind your business.
Yeah, we just wanted to put that out there. And yeah, I just thought like, I bet there's other people that wish that they could do something like this, or maybe not the exact same way or the exact same thing, but felt too scared to say that to a partner. And it took like all this dramatic stuff to happen, and then a joke was said, and I was like, wait, I know you said that as a joke, but are you kind of serious? And he was like, I mean, yeah. And I was like, okay, because like I'm kind of into that too. And then it turned out the whole time we could have been more honest, and stuff would have played out differently. But I'm excited about that. I just like, I'm a flirty girl. I want to go out and flirt with boys and girls.
This is a big week for Sadie.
And then another big thing happened, exciting thing, was that I got to be a guest on, and we have so many Broad Squad babes here, I think. Hello. I got to be a guest on Chatty Broads, and I'm not exactly sure when the episode's coming out. It might be before this episode airs, or it might be after, but Craig and I went on together, and I had so much freaking fun talking to Becca and Jess about I told them how to do a love spell, or I shared with everyone how to do a love spell, and we did little tarot readings, and talked about so much magic and fun. And Craig's been friends with Becca and Jess for a while, and I've been following them and listening to the pod, and I already felt like they were my friends, and it was kind of surreal to get to meet them, and then like not only get to meet them, but they were excited to meet me, and I was like a guest on the podcast. It was quite a dramatic way to meet people that I had been, I
love that though,
fans of. So it was so fun, and they were so welcoming and sweet, and it was just the best time. So that's another episode you can go see me on. You have homework. You gotta go listen to Craig's podcast. You gotta go listen to our Chatty Broads episode together, and then here we are recording Goddess Hangs.
Number 3.
And then we're leaving for New York. It's been quite the week.
Here, do you need me to be flat?
Boo-boo?
Are you waiting for me to be flat? She's like, I couldn't lie down. Your legs were crossed. Is that better for you?
Boo-boo, what are you doing? If you're listening and not watching, Boo is figuring out where she'd like to sit today.
She was trying to communicate that. So I think that's what it was.
She's comfortable now.
Yes. So big week for Sadie.
Yeah. Craig and I made this decision like a month or so ago. But we just kind of wanted to see how we felt about it before we shared, and then we decided it was time to share and let people know what's up with us, because I get so many amazing messages. I've become close with so many of you that have found me, well, I think honestly through Chatty Broads to Craig to me to gotta things, but this past year was hard not sharing everything that was going on with my relationship. Like, I just didn't feel ready for that. So it's just almost been like a year of buildup of me just like kind of feeling like I had this sort of, I don't know, not that I wasn't lying to anyone, but I just wasn't telling the whole truth of my situation. And it just feels really good. And like, I just feel relieved and lighter that I was like able to like lay it all out there. Now I can just talk about my life and everything about it as I please, and that's it.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I really do. Look, if somebody got comfortable.
Oh, boo. You love your Auntie Juliet. Oh,
she's very sweet when I come visit.
She's
sweet girl.
The head scratchies.
I felt like a weight was lifted when I watched the episode. I felt it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is freaking freedom.
I pretty much only told 2 people, one Juliet and one my other friend, about what I was going through in the past years. So that was also, in hindsight, I should have expressed more and told more and like shared about that more, not like on here, but with my friends, just to have the support. Mm-hmm. But you know what? It played out how it played out, and we're all good and happy, and
yay.
And then yesterday we recorded the episode with Craig, and last night I was meditating, and I was kind of just I was thinking about my mom, connecting with her and starting to kind of just, I know she knows because she's always around, but just kind of telling her about, oh my gosh, Craig and I are finally in a good place again, and we're able to share, what we've been going through, and I feel a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. I get to be on Chatty Broads. I've been manifesting that for a while. I am going to New York with Juliet, and my California best friend gets to meet my childhood best friend, and that's like a big deal and exciting. And we're working this big gig in New York, and we've got these other big projects that are like have been with us for a while, but I've just gotten a complete like makeover, facelift, and are being resent back out, and that's super exciting. And I just started sobbing because I was like, everything's so good right now, and it was like this extreme emotion like brought the other polar opposite of just like being, I'm just like, man, like if my mom was alive right now and I was talking to her on the phone, she'd be like, oh my god, like she'd be freaking out with me, and I know she's freaking out with me in spirit, but and I posted about it on my Instagram story, so a lot of you probably saw that, but it was just like a moment, but it was a positive. Like, I was so sad, but it was a positive, because I was just like, God, life is so fucking good right now. Mm-hmm. Like, and this is kind of what we wanted to talk about today, is just like, it's just interesting because maybe 4 weeks ago, Craig and I decided this new thing that is unconventional, but very true to my desires. And things just start falling into place. And it's just like, the more you just listen to yourself and what you want, everything out, like, oh, then Chatty Broads is like, oh, you guys want to be on the podcast, and we get help with that project from like some amazing guy that's done all this stuff that like knows what he's talking about, and it's magic. Like, all you have to do to get what you want is be honest about what you want. Like, be true to who you are and what you really want, and even if it feels a little against the norm or weird or whatever, like, embrace your weird and embrace your unconventional, and just freaking, oh my god, it's like, you guys know the past once a month when I'm PMSing, I'm like, oh, I've been having such a hard time. Well, that wasn't just that, it was a lot of the Craig stuff, and it was a lot of other stuff, and I haven't felt like that recently. I've been feeling good and happy and light, and I'm just like, oh, it was that freaking simple to just be more honest with myself about who I am and what I want.
It really is. So, okay, a year or two ago, we sort of got this massive realization that like everything is literally energy. Thoughts are energy, feelings are energy, the items in our home, this beautiful cat, like everything is
very stinky energy.
Very stinky energy, but I love you. Let you smell like fish.
Yes, you do.
And she's like, what? So once that becomes a fact and like a belief, just as like the sun rises and we're, you know, just other scientific things, you like, it's crazy the energy that gets clogged up when we're not being honest, the energy that gets blocked when we're not really doing what we want. And that's why there's a lot of people who are sort of in careers that they're not happy in, or in relationships that they're not happy in, and they're like, well, why can't I get to this thing? And it's like, well, are you where you want to be? Are you doing what you really want to be doing?
Yeah.
Is that like deep, deep, deep down what you really, really want? I've been having these moments the past couple weeks where I look around, and I've been saying it out loud, and I feel like the more I say it out loud, the more it's going to keep coming, is I'm just like, oh my God, this is my dream life. This is my dream life. This is my freaking dream life. Like the house, the apartment that we have, and the furniture that we have, and the relationship that we have, and this podcast that we have, and these friendships that I have, and
the trips we're going on.
And just like, you know, I like have been making nail appointments and like spa appointments, and this is stuff that was not even within grasp a few years ago.
I could never have fathomed any of this.
Same.
If someone like 2 years ago or 3 years ago was like, all right, Sadie, just so you know, this is where you're at 3 years from now, so you better make it happen. Oh my God, I would have had a meltdown. I would have had a panic attack. Be like,
yeah,
how the hell am I supposed to be there and making that for that and working on this project? And oh my God, like,
and it's really just following one little desire at a time and allowing. This is something when we had Kelly Tennant on the show, who was an amazing guest. She was an amazing episode, and it's so funny because she talks a lot about her relationship on her show, and the unconventional ways, I suppose is the word, that she and her partner are in relationship. And I remember at first it like hit me a weird way.
It was a little triggering.
Because it's so unconventional. And then you come back around to it later after you've done some of your own growing and stuff, and you realize like, oh no, this is somebody who is truly following what she wants and truly following her desires. And because of that, all this energy is now freed up and cleared and unblocked. And now she can get everything else she wants. And it's always a process of learning and growing. But why did I bring up Kelly? I brought her up because she talked about how important it is to really feel your desires.
Yes.
And to, like, even if you're just able to speak your fantasies in any part of your life out loud, to not shove them down. Like, some people are just deeply desiring to be in theater and be in a play, and they won't even let themselves say it.
Yeah, it's like,
let alone show up to an audition or take a headshot or try, and they just shove it down. And so the more that Sadie and we have this beautiful friendship where, like, we're not competitive with each other at all, but the more of herself that she shares, the more of myself I want to share. And I think it sort of is like a symbiotic thing.
And we push each other to like grow. Like, I feel like when I kind of am like, I don't know, I'm going to try this. Then you're like, oh my gosh, okay, well then I'm going to try this. We inspire each other, which is really cool, where it's like, oh, if she can do that, then I could try this. Like,
yeah,
it's very cool.
It's very cool. And it's one little unconventional desire at a time. I mean, I just love thinking back at every person who's achieved even the smallest thing that they want. At some point there was somebody, if you know, in their life or in their own head that was like, why are you doing this? This is weird. Why would you're going to start a company during this time? Like, why would you? And here, oh, hello, boo. Here we are, like, getting more, manifesting more and more abundance and magic and fun. The more we show up as ourselves, the more we follow our desires, the more we trust our instincts and our intuition. Like, it's just pretty amazing. So I think it's such a beautiful thing that you and Craig both are being so, I would say, brave to talk about something so personal.
Yeah.
And like whatever it is that's so personal, and to be so open about what you're going through, because somebody listening is going to feel like, oh, I can have what I want too. I can do things the way I want. I can do what's right for me. I have a little example. I won't say the name of the friend because she'd kill me. But I have a friend right now who is interested in somebody who's quite a bit younger than her. And there's like this moral dilemma conflict going on. And I keep saying, like, if you like this person, what's the big deal? Like, do it. People gave me such a hard time when I started dating Victor, because he was 21 and I was 25, which now sounds like who cares.
Yeah.
But for some reason, because the woman was older.
And the 21 age, you know, like a young man like that, it's...
Oh my gosh.
Boo's being so cute. She's just so comfortable.
My grandpa, who never had a centimeter of involvement in my love life, called me one day and was like, Juliet, you need to do the right thing. This guy's too young. Like, from all angles. And it drove me nuts. But it was my life. It wasn't their life.
Yeah.
And now, like, he's the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. And I am keeping him forever. And so it's just so funny where it's like, had I listened to these outside voices, same with being a songwriter, same with being a musician, same with everything I have ever done. It's always been weird and different, and not for the sake of being weird and different, but because it's what I desired.
I for forever and ever and ever just wouldn't admit what I wanted. And it caused me so much pain to do that. Like, I would always be asking other people, like, well, what would you see me doing? What would you see me as? Searching for, like, the answer that I wanted to hear, so I could go, oh, really? You think that? Like, I needed some sort of, like, out there validation when I really knew. I didn't see it exactly as it was, but that's kind of the point. It was like, if you don't know the big picture of what you want, whether that's the purpose of your life or what your future, you know, long-term relationship looks like, or your career, or whatever it is, just follow the little desires. Those are the little breadcrumbs, and that will start putting together a life that, like, we don't sometimes know the thing we want big picture, because we wouldn't be able to handle it. Like we were just saying, like, I wouldn't have been able, if someone told me this was my life, I would have had a meltdown. Like, I don't know how to make that happen. But I just followed the breadcrumbs here. I like the little magical breadcrumbs. Yeah. I also am really, cat hair in my nose. I'm also really enjoying playing this idea of, like, it is safe to change your mind. It is safe to redesign what a certain age looks like, what a certain season looks like. I think I had ideas of, like, what 30 was supposed to be maybe 5 years ago. Yeah. And now I have completely different ideas. Like, for me, I think at the time it was, okay, by 30, like, I'll be married and I'll own a home and I'll be pregnant. And those are all beautiful things that are going to happen in my life. But now I sort of see 30 the way that people probably see 19 or 21, where it's like, I'm going to be young and wear whatever I want and do whatever I want and be totally free. And I'm, like, on that train right now. And it's safe to change your timeline. It's safe to, again, follow your desires. I just feel so much more comfortable, like, in my own body at 30 too. Like, when you're a teenager and when you're in your early 20s, I don't think you know who you are. And at 30, you've gone through your, like, Saturn return, and it starts getting a little clearer. Even if you're not in a place like we talk about like we've come so far, but I still don't know 100% of who I am and where I'm going at all. But now it's different. I'm like, oh, my purpose is to be me. I'm not worried about what that means, because it might be something completely different next year or 5 years from now or a decade from now. Now I'm just concerned with following the breadcrumbs, having fun along the way, and that is somehow magically manifested money, Juliet into my life, all of you amazing listeners, opportunities, a boyfriend, a cool ass modern unconventional relationship as of now, and all these things, just because I'm like, oh, what if I'm just honest? It's hard to be honest, though. I don't want to play that down. It's freaking hard.
We're also, here's the thing, too. We're also unlearning about 20 years of education. And, I enjoyed school. I did well in school. I had friends in school. I don't really have a gripe against school. But there was definitely a big push to be the good girl, follow the rules, do what everybody told you to do, get a good stable job. Like it was a very specific mentality. It wasn't about, do what makes you feel good, even if it's different. And yeah. So I think
everything points you in the direction of like, this is what you that came from here, that looks this way, that is this age, this is sort of what your life should look like. And it's like, no, your life, easier said than done, we get that, but like it's just taking a day at a time and a step at a time. It's just, it's so straight up magic to just listen. Boom, she gets startled easily. To just listen to yourself, and then all the other stuff starts to fall into place, because it can be really intimidating to be like, oh my God, I have to decide what I want and then I have to go after it. Like we always talk about that with manifesting, like get really clear on your desires, get in the feeling that it's already yours, taking the inspired action. But you're like, well, what if I can't even get the first step done with what I want? Well, what do you want to feel like today? What do you want to wear today? Like for real, not what you like think you should dress for this certain thing. Like just start with the teeny tiny stuff and make it your goal every single day to feel a little bit more like yourself. Because I have just never felt more like me, and it's so empowering, and it's so like, and truthfully, it's just what's allowed me to like be in a relationship like I'm gonna be now. I don't think old Sadie would have been able to handle it, but I'm just like so me, and I'm so like, oh, I know who I am, and I know the love I have in my relationship, that I feel good and excited about like this new open thing we're doing, versus like scared or anxious or nervous. I'm just like, hell yeah, babe, like go have fun. Like I'm allowing you to do that. Like that's like sexy to me. I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, oh, and then I'm gonna go, I don't know, I'm gonna go find me a rich man to take me on a nice date or something. Let's see where that takes us. But it's just exciting. It's just like, I don't know, I've just never felt more like me before, and I feel fucking powerful. It's cool.
And as you were saying all that, I thought you also trust yourself to know if you will ever need to like communicate anything or like you trust that you'll know how to handle that if and when that comes up.
Totally.
It's not like, well, what about this? What about that? It's like, well, you don't know what's going to happen, but you know that you can handle whatever happens.
Yeah, that was the big lesson that Craig and I learned from the past year, was for sure like, we just used to not communicate with each other, and now we do, and that, wow, does that make a freaking difference? Amazing.
It does. And then I think another big piece, maybe the biggest piece, is once you sort of get, really honest with yourself and clear with yourself about what kind of life you want, whatever that looks like, is deciding that you're worthy of it, and realizing that everyone is equally worthy. Nobody is more worthy than anybody else. Nobody was, maybe, people came in with different, what's the word? Privileges or advantages. That's the word I'm looking for. For sure, that definitely is a thing.
But the worthiness factor.
That everybody came in with the same amount of worthiness. No one has more or less than you. So I'm just, and as Sadie and I up level to these new places, it does come up in me. Like, I was like, who am I to book this spot? Like, who am I to, it happens. And then you normalize it. Did I talk about my crypto purchase ever on here? Okay.
Oh, I don't think so. We talk about it a lot.
Okay, so I'll share a little bit. Maybe you did.
I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm like, we talk all day, every day.
This was a great moment of a shift. So I decided to put a good little chunk of change into 2 different coins on crypto because I was tired of feeling like, oh, I just don't understand. Like anybody can put $5 in. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah, no. I've been doing it for a while, but
and so,
not that much.
And I hate to say it, but there's a community, mostly men, and I love men, but there's a community of mostly men who make it sound like, well, you have to do your research and it's this very complicated thing. And it's like, nobody can predict when it's going to crash. Nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
You put an app on your phone and you put deposit money into it and you hope for the best. Like, it's
cross your fingers. You tap into your root chakra.
That's the Juliet crypto method. Put some money in and hope for the best. And just don't put in anything that would be devastating if you lost it. Yeah. But I put in a pretty big chunk, and then I had a total, I don't know why I'm talking about this, maybe just the worthiness and the up-leveling. I had a total meltdown.
Yeah.
And I was like, who am I to put this into this? This is not safe. This is not secure. What am I doing? Da, 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 da. And it really was, and then I had to tell myself, like, no, Juliet, the version of you that you want to be can put this much money, can spend this amount of money in a day, and it's nothing. And then I ended up making a lot of money on it. And then I had a gut feeling to pull it out. And then I didn't listen to the gut feeling, and then the market crashed. So now I'm waiting for it to climb up again, which it will.
Yeah, but it's all very volatile. Yeah, and it goes up and down all the time. But
again, I had a desire. I was like, I want to be the kind of woman who invests big chunks, because my neighbor inspired me. She's like, oh yeah, I put this much into this, and it turned into this insane amount. I'm like, okay, I gotta get it.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of times, like, we do something crazy. We do something, we step outside of our comfort zone and we do the thing, and then we have the meltdown. But it's like, okay, but what's the worst thing that can happen? Let's say you'll lose it all. Will you be fine?
Yeah.
Yeah. It would hurt. You'd be like, oh, but then you'd be fine and you'd make the money back, and then you'd try again. Like, I used to be so scared to do things, and I was like, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, I would be sad or mad or upset for like a day, and then I would figure it out and move forward, and at least I wouldn't have to wonder if I could be somewhere else. Like, I just waited so long. Well, we're still young, but I just like let myself feel so scared and like timid and nervous and like unclear. Like, I just like convinced myself I just had no idea what I wanted. I'm like, bitch, you always wanted to be a witch that gets to, I don't know. It's like, now that I'm here, I'm like, this is so obvious. And all my friends were like, of course that's what you should be doing. Like,
yeah, it's
just funny. Once you come upon the thing that's meant for you, you'll go, duh, but we don't come upon it until we're ready to. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it can sometimes come in smaller forms than I don't mean small, in different forms than a career. Like, it could be, oh my gosh, I was meant to rescue these dogs. I was meant to become a sculptor because it brings me joy. Like, it can be anything. It could be anything. There's probably some little longings in your heart that have been really being patient. They've been patient, waiting for you to
while you've been listening to this, there's something that's been hanging out in your mind. Something has come to mind, and this is your sign to do that thing.
Yeah, whatever it is, however small, however large.
Even if it's like, gosh, I've always wanted that, I don't know, that type of outfit. Silly example, but Juliet and I I don't know if you guys remember the progression of this show, but feel free to scroll back to the beginning of our YouTube thumbnails, to the beginning of our Instagram, and look at our aesthetic and the way we dress and literally our physical appearance to now. And even since the start of this show. And I honestly, like, this is like therapeutic to me of like, oh, I'm reminding myself of all this stuff. We're like, as these things are coming out of our mouth, we're like relearning them with you guys.
Yeah, big time.
Look at the difference.
Look
at the difference.
Here, look. So we're going to do a before picture, like first episode or our first photo we took. So that's going to go here. This is us in the beginning. They were little
we should find
babies.
One from when we first met. We should find one from the store.
Okay, so
store.
Here's the store.
First thumbnail. Now, I don't know. From our most recent photo shoot.
Yeah.
We were doing that the other day. We're like, it hasn't even been a year, and look at the difference.
Yeah.
Like, look how much we've grown. And all of you listening have grown, I'm sure, too. If anyone has some fun, like, from when you first started listening to Goddess Hangs to now stories or level ups, we would love to hear. That'd be fun.
How have you grown?
Either comment or DM us or email. It'd be really fun to share a few on the next podcast that we do, just us two. Maybe I think that'll be next week. So yeah, let us know. It'd be super fun to hear from you if like you're like, oh, since I started listening to Goddess Sayings, I was doing this and now I'm doing this. Not that we have all the credit. I'm just the same time period, you know.
We'll print out a certificate for you.
Yes.
What is it, in 9 months? No, more than 9 months.
41 episodes. Math.
Okay, well, we started November.
Oh, yeah.
So 10 months.
10 months.
Okay, so we'll all celebrate the 1 year anniversary together.
Yeah.
But we have a very spooky October with some amazing guests coming up. You won't even believe who's coming on the show.
Yeah, we have some witches.
And oh yes. Spooky season.
Spooky.
I wanted to share a meditation that I had.
Ooh.
I think I told you about it, where the people came into my room. Maybe I didn't. Okay. Maybe I told Irene. I had this meditation. I was lying on my bed. I was having this moment, and I started to see all the future animals and children that I'm going to care for
You did
walk into my room. And this was really profound because I knew that none of these creatures, people, animals were alive yet. They were still in the ethers. And first in comes a dog. And I was like, oh my God, there's my dog. And it could have been a golden retriever. I'm hoping it was a golden doodle. I do not want dog hair in my home. Victor and I are still a house divided between the two dogs. I think I'm going to win unless he just brings home a golden retriever. But I clean. He doesn't do any of the cleaning. He does all the cooking. I do all the cleaning. And so
the cleaner should get to pick when it comes to a furry animal.
I'm going to send him a clip of you saying that. He'll say, no. Anyways, so first in comes my dog. And I felt like this love. And I've never had a dog before. So that was amazing. And then in comes a horse. I was like, oh my God, this is my horse
that you own.
One day I'll have a horse. And then in comes my son. We both think we're going to have boys.
Yeah, I think my mom would like to be reborn as my son. I stand by that. She really wants to be a little boy.
I love that. I can't wait for her/him to.
I know, it's gonna be weird because I'm gonna know
here.
like you're my mother in there. She'll still be here, but there will be a part of her that's
a facet.
There. Yeah,
that's Tiffany.
I feel
higher
like she's
self-guidance.
I feel like she's like, yeah, like I'm getting a tickle right now.
I love it.
She's like, yes, I do, and I'm ready anytime you are. So many. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, now I feel a chill too. I'm feeling the chill.
People reach out to me. One person listens that has reached out to me twice now. That's like, I just had a vision of you and your baby, and then I'm like, I'm not ready yet. My mom wants to come back so bad. I'm like, please just give me a few more years. Thank you.
Right now you have 2 little furry babies.
Yes, I got 2 babies already.
A little stinky baby. Spooky, stinky, boo.
Spooky, stinky girl.
And I did see another child, but I couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl. Maybe we're gonna have,
because Juliet and I are planning on having our children together, which we said last episode with Megan when she predicted that 33, which I'm cool with. I think we'll see at 33. I'm gonna be like, no, more time.
I know. I don't know how I'm gonna, because right now I'm not in the mood.
No,
Not
cats
in
are
the mood
enough
yet.
work.
Very excited to meet you, little one.
But what if
not
we
yet.
have two little boys at the same time? That'd be so cute.
Oh.
We have to get pregnant the exact same month, and we'll be sitting here with the same little bellies in
Bump
these
dates.
chairs
Bump
for
dates.
every week, and we'll be like, "Oh yeah, do you have heartburn? Yeah, me too." We'll have all the same. We'll be going through the same week by week, so we have to plan that with our boyfriends.
I promise I'll plan it with you. That would really be wonderful.
Spirit, please let it happen for us at the exact same time. Thank you.
Amen.
Everyone, please pray for us. That same prayer at 33 or later. Not now. What if we got everyone to pray for us just now and then, like, boom, we're pregnant?
I know.
Or next week's episode, we're like, guys, the prayer worked too good.
Pray in 3 years. Circle back.
The power of group intention.
Oh, I'm going to share this because I think it's cute. And if this does end up happening one day, it'll be sweet for him to watch this. So should we have a son once, we get married and do all that? Should we have a son? Victor's very dead set on naming him a very unusual name, a very Italian name, because Victor's half Italian. He wants to name our son Vincenzo.
I think it's cute.
I like it. We'll call him Vince.
Or Vinny.
Baby Vinny or baby Enzo.
Enzo's cute.
I like him.
And then when he got older, he could pick if he wanted to be Enzo or
he'd have
Vince,
so many choices.
Or Vinny or Vincenzo.
Vincenzo Salazar.
Hi, Vinny. I'm your Aunt Sadie.
Hi, Vinny.
Nice to see
I'm your
you.
mom. Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
past.
That made me want to cry. Oh my God.
Oh my God, she's really
I have
crying.
tears in my eyes. That did something to me. Okay, I guess that's your name. I just felt like, hi, Mom. That was weird. Okay, well,
See,
baby
your little
spirit.
baby is talking to you too.
I think
Mine
he
bugs
is.
me all the time. It wants to come out so bad. I'm like, no, not yet. God.
Okay, this is what I will say. As I'm crying. I did not settle into my relationship with Victor for a couple years, which sounds dramatic, but not really. It takes a minute sometimes to like really lead in, because I had come from a lot of past situations where trust was just, I had no trust and faith left in mankind. But Victor taught me to trust again and to love again. But I was a real pain in the butt learning that. But as that, I always had this like spirit baby telling me like, no, you need to figure it out, because that's my dad. Like I felt it so strong so early on, that it was like, you need to get over your nonsense, Juliet, because like this is the family. That's my father. So you need to straighten yourself out. And I did.
That was one of the things, again, I know I'm being cryptic, but I want you guys to go listen to the episode. When I was having going through really difficult stuff with Craig, I kept feeling like, I'm like, no, but like this is who I'm supposed to have the baby with.
I have so much emotion.
So I felt like, I was like, I know it doesn't make any sense. And I remember telling one of my other friends, the other friend that, that knew about this stuff. And she was like, Sadie, you can't, if you want to leave, you can't, we all think that about the people we have. I was like, no, this is different. I'm psychic. And I know that I'm going to have a baby with this person. Craig's going to see a clip of this and be like, oh my God, he's more baby crazy than me. It's fine. But it was just weird because
than I am usually, but today I'm crying.
Are you ovulating?
No.
I am.
No, I'm wrapping up this is day 4 or 5 of the
I'm ovulating.
Day 4.
So I'm like, maybe you could put a baby in me right now, and then tomorrow I'll be like, ew, get away from me. I go nuts when I'm ovulating.
I do too.
I have to say, I'm like, I might say something crazy, so just so you know, I'm about to ovulate. Because I might convince you to put a baby in me.
It's so wild how
nature is just like,
yes.
No, I seriously, I become dead set. I'm like, oh, maybe we'll mess up, and maybe I will. I like fantasize about maybe something will happen and I will get pregnant on accident. Like I fantasize about it. And then the next day, like, you know, like there'll be like 3 days like that.
Later.
And then I'm like, what the fuck, Sadie? You're so crazy. I'm like, no, I do not want that. But like 3 days a month, I'm like, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I got
Literally last night I was talking, we're sharing a lot of personal stuff today because we have like you guys, we have a 2-bedroom apartment, but the second bedroom is the office and Victor has a lot of stuff. And so I said, you know, I guess if we had a baby right now, we do have a second bedroom but all your stuff's in there. And he was like, oh no, it's fine, I could move it to the studio over here. And like he'd almost already thought about it.
He's already like, yeah, we might have a baby in here.
Okay.
We'll have the podcast studio here, and instead of that desk over there, there'll just be a little bassinet.
Oh. Oh my God.
Studio stays, though. Sorry, baby. It's a shared room.
This is... Mom's got to bring home the bacon.
Mom's got to bring home the bacon.
Oh, I think about my future child a lot. Yeah. I asked my mom once, I was like, before you got pregnant with me, like years before, did you ever think about me or what I would be like? And she's like, no. She's like, I was in my 20s. Why would I be doing that? And I was like, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. It's super weird. I don't do it either.
Yeah, you're right. I don't do that. That would be so weird if someone did that.
I didn't cry about my son before I met him. What are you talking about?
I'm not crying
years
right now.
Before.
My mom and dad accidentally had me when they were 20. So I don't think they were thinking about it. Or 21.
No.
But I think they were like, oh. Uh-oh. All right. My mom always said, oh no, sweetie, you were a pleasant surprise. And then when she said that when I was, for a while when I was little, they didn't explain that to me. They just, I don't know, I guess it never came up. You just assume your parents are married. I don't know, I grew up in a Catholic family, so I just had the assumption that my parents had gotten married and da-da-da. And then, we were watching the wedding video and I was in it. And I was wearing a little dress, but I was barely in it. They purposely tried to keep me out of the wedding video.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, I was barely in the wedding video, but I was wearing a little dress that matched the bridesmaids, and I could walk. But I was little. My parents had gotten married in like a courthouse, and then they had an actual wedding like after I was born.
But the videographer tried to.
I think it was directions from like my grandparents, probably of like we don't need proof that. And I'm not like in any of the wedding pictures really. Like there's no one of like my mom and dad holding me in their, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that I've come across. I could be wrong. I don't think my dad listened to this.
They edited you out of the wedding.
Yeah, because it was so like I'm sure that my grandparents were so mad because they were in college. No. They weren't married, you know. And then it took a while for my mom to admit that, you know, I was an accident, they weren't married, blah blah blah, but then they did get married and they had a very successful marriage. They were very in love, but then later on she admitted, she was like, oh yeah, I was so traumatized that I had become pregnant. And it was, you know, she had just turned 21, so all of her and she was in college, so all of her friends would like be going out to the bars every night, and she had to stay home. And she was like, your dad was so sweet because he'd stay with me most nights, but once in a while I could tell he really wanted to go, and he'd be like, well, do you mind if I go out, you know, for a drink or two? And she'd be like, no, of course, like go out. And then she's like, and then I would just be home alone crying. I was like, you poor thing. I was like, thank you for having me. Poor little lady. But yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I was totally traumatized.
I was very planned.
Yeah.
Very, very planned. And my name was picked out immediately. And yeah.
I have no idea what I want to name my children. Probably something weird like Cloud or something.
Oh, thank you, Boo.
No, little kids.
Give me a little smooch.
Maybe Boo Jr. Boo will be the big sister, and then Boo Jr. will be my daughter.
Boo Jr. Booju.
Booju. Boojuji. Yeah, I don't know what I want to name my kids.
Yeah, Victor's just so passionate about it that I've been like, fine. But I don't have a girl's name.
I would maybe name my son after my dad.
That's nice.
Or at least the middle name. My mom's name is Barb, so I don't want to use that name. No offense, Mom. She didn't really like the name Barbie.
Barbie Olsen.
Barbie Jr. And her middle name was Lynn. So maybe I would use the same middle name or something. But Barbara's not really like a middle name. But...
Yeah. Boo Junior.
Boo Jr. Maybe we'll name her Barb and just call her Boo Jr.
Oh my God. That's like, remember Steve Irwin, their daughter.
Gosh, sure. My mom's like, no.
Oh.
She doesn't want me to name her Barb.
Do not mention Steve Irwin. I'm like,
no, from Barb. She's like, no, don't name her Barb.
The daughter, who's now in her 20s and has a baby, her name is Bindi Sue, and she was named after their dog, Bindi.
Oh.
The favorite dog, I think. That's where she got her name.
The favorite dog. Well,
I think.
Maybe it is normal to name my daughter after my cat.
Boo
Especially
Junior.
with such a conventional name like Boo. Hi, Boo Boo. You're so cute. I feel like I gave birth to Boo. That's how much I love her. Sometimes I look at my cats and I think, I can't imagine what loving a child that I brought into this world is going to be like, because I love them so much.
I can't imagine it.
Like, I hold Boo and I talk to her and I'm like, I would take a bullet for you. And I mean it.
I know you do.
Like, I would do anything for her.
I do have a big mommy yearning in my heart because we can't have pets where we live.
Yeah.
And it's probably for the best at this moment, but I love taking care of things. And I was a nanny for 10 years with so many sweet little babies. And
it definitely helps the mommy thing, because I call myself their mom, call Craig their dad, so we get that out of our system a little bit. I'm like, Daddy's been gone all weekend. He's coming home today. Are you excited?
Straighten out your bow tie, Mr. Cat.
We got to clean up your litter box so he doesn't yell at me. It's usually his job when he's home, but I don't have the habit, so sometimes I forget a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta make sure this is clean.
It's like those reels or those TikToks where it's like, you hear your wife's car pull into the garage and the guy's like running around like cleaning everything really fast.
That's me before, because he's neat. He's very neat I don't know. He kind of got a little messy when we moved into more space, but he cares more about neatness than I do. Like he'll drive him a little crazy. So it is funny me being home alone for like 4 days and my stuff will be kind of strewn all over and whatever, and then I have to do the picking up Craig from the airport tomorrow cleanup. Like, can't leave my bobby pins there, can't do this, whatever. It's funny.
So what did we cover in this episode? We chatted about Sadie's new life.
My new life.
Sadie's big reveal, which you can watch on the Community Service Podcast.
And you can catch me on Chatty Broads too, which is so fun. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so crazy. That was so fun.
We talked about, this is the ex preschool teacher and me being like, let's remind everyone what we discussed today.
Recap. We talked about leaning into your desires no matter how weird or unconventional or different that they feel than what everyone else is doing in your life. Your desires are yours for a reason. And even if you don't know the big desires of your life yet, like what you really want out of life, to follow the breadcrumbs and they'll get you there. Follow the little desires. Make sure you find ways to feel like you every day. Do something that makes you feel, you don't have to feel wildly inspired every single day. You don't have to feel overjoyed every day, but like, what's a little something that you can kind of like stoke your flame with every day? A little something that makes you feel like you.
Cow in the car.
How do you put a cow in the car,
How are you going to put the cow in the car?
That's what I'd like to know.
That is our methodology. And then talking about being worthy of all those desires and up levels and good things. And yeah, I love, as long as what you want doesn't hurt you or anybody else in the process, go get it.
Follow your heart, baby.
Yeah.
And with that, should we do a spooky story time? Spooky time. Let me open up my computer. So we want to do a full episode where we look up a bunch of stories, but we thought we'd start with one today about psychics that have helped solve unsolved mysteries.
Yes.
Psychic
and this
detectives.
is a little trigger warning if you don't like hearing about murder.
Yes. I know we have, so many of us are big murder mystery fans, but if you are not,
And so many of us
none
are
of this
not.
has a lot of detail or anything. It's not like that viral TikTok audio that's with like, her arms were cut off, her legs were cut off. Yeah, and they're just doing something normal, like. Okay, so I want to. Where's the one with the map thing? That was so
thank you for
interesting.
grooming me. I love you. Thank you. Oh, she's licking my hand. I'm going to wash it immediately. Thank you, Stinky.
Okay, the one that says with the map doesn't have that many details. But
it's I do like that a map came. Well, any of them are very cool.
so there's this one article, let us tell you where we are, on Reader's Digest Canada. How did we get here? Who knows? But we're on Reader's Digest Canada.
Shout out to Canada.
13 Mysteries Actually Solved by Psychics by Lauren Kahn. And it seems to me like the same psychic is told stories about, and it's someone named Christy Robinette. So this first story says the persistence of Ashley Howley. In 2004, 20-year-old Ashley Howley disappeared from the city of Columbus, Ohio. While the case went cold, Ashley, or rather her spirit, was diligently trying to communicate with Christy Robinette, a Michigan spiritual medium who spoke extensively with Reader's Digest about helping law enforcement solve crimes like this one. Ashley's spirit, which according to Robinette needed time to figure out how to get her message across, eventually told Robinette she'd been murdered by her boyfriend and where her body could be found. In 2008, her body was found in the very spot she said it would be, marked by a stick, and her boyfriend was brought to justice. Howley's case was solved, but to this day, there's more unsolved mysteries. Great, thanks.
Cool
So
concluding sentence.
this medium, I guess, more or less the story is that this spirit came to her and was like, look, I've been murdered and I need to figure out how to show you where I was buried. But the message got across to Robinette, the medium, and she was able to say, go to this exact location, and there was a stick marking the spot like she said there would be, and they found the body. That's crazy.
I have one personal anecdote about. I have two quick personal anecdotes about this. So the first is before I uncovered any type of gift in myself. I always, for years, whenever the news was on, and I'd be passing by, and they would say, this is a missing person or a missing child, I would feel immediately the outcome. And this was back even like early teens. I remember,
like if they were still alive or not.
I could feel it. And then like the news would come out, and I don't know, it just felt different. Like the energy felt, I couldn't explain it in words, but the best is if they were still around, it was like this higher up buzzing feeling. And if they weren't, my heart just sunk. I could just like feel
felt
it.
like the sadness.
And so I've always sort of had this, huge compassion. I think it's so funny. Women get made fun of for listening to true crime, but what's interesting about it is I don't know the statistics, but it's usually women who are the victims. And so I think for a lot of us, we are interested in true crime because it's like, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
How can I avoid a similar situation? So that's at least part of what has piqued my interest.
Yeah, part of the fascination factor.
But also because I've always been able to feel sort of what's going on. But another time I connected with this woman who was really passionate about solving unsolved cases of missing people. She was just like a hobby helper. And she was like, I have this one, like, do you think if I sent you this picture, could you try to help? And I think ethically you're not supposed to technically do a reading without the person's permission, but knowing that it was in the greater good of trying to be helpful.
If it's a missing person, I think that goes within the boundaries of like, you're helping. Yeah, it's for their greater good.
And it was, what I do remember is I got a number of details correct, but the most specific one is I was like, she keeps telling me like North Carolina, and showing me like a city with this certain kind of name. And I don't know what cities are in North Carolina. And it was just so wild because although I was not helpful in the case at all, that was the state she went missing in, and I had no idea. Yeah. And a nearby city had that like exact name or something. And I actually should look up and see if they ever found her.
Yeah.
I hope they did, of course. But there's like, how did that information get to me? Like, where did that? I love talking about.
It's in the cosmic egg. That's a callback to
egg.
Which the episode whatever has CIA in it.
I almost called it the CSI episode.
I said CSI instead of CIA the other day in regular conversation, and I was like, God, I got so embarrassed.
That's not it.
I don't even remember who I was talking to. I have no idea.
But I just think I would love to have Ms. Robinette on our show.
That's a thought. Okay, so this is the map one. It's quick,
okay,
so I'll just read one more about Robinette. Robinette was visited by another young woman from Ohio in August of 2005. It was the spirit of 20-year-old Julie Popovich, a student at Ohio State University who had disappeared earlier that month. Julie's body was discovered 3 weeks later, but not before Julie pushed her way through the other spirits waiting to speak with Robinette and asked me to draw a map, the map of where her body would be found. So she was found because of the map that Robinette drew.
Like to the exact spot. That's so wild. That's like what the oh my God, now I wanted to say CBS. What? CIA. The CIA, what we read in that article is they were training people in how to do remote viewing and how to see locations they've never been to and what did it look like. And it's like the information's all out there. The energy's all out there. It really is just about tapping in.
Yep.
And I want to get back. I think we both like, we're definitely in the system, but I'd like to get better.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Stronger at it.
Yeah.
I love those two stories. Thank you, psychics, for solving unsolved mysteries.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it seems like this person specifically, spirits go to her for help. Like, that's her thing. That's really cool. Yeah. And we thought for Psychic Babes Hotline today, Psychic Babes Hotline, we would do a little collective energy reading.
I love that.
So I brought some cards.
Okay.
Did you bring cards? Would you like one of my decks?
I would love one of your decks. Mine are in my suitcase because I didn't think to.
I know. I gotta remember to pack these bad boys. I need to pack. I haven't even started.
I began. Oh, and shout out to everyone who packs like me, which is, I am not a light packer. I am the heaviest of packers.
I'm a pretty efficient packer.
I'm efficient too in that if I feel like wearing 3 outfits a day, I have that option.
I used to pack so much stuff everywhere I went. And then when I backpacked in Europe for 6 weeks and I was like, I'm only bringing this backpack, and I got by fine. I was worried about it. I was like, yeah, but I'm only gonna have 2 pairs of shoes, and I'm only gonna have this, and I just did my laundry and wore the same stuff. I only brought my very favorite outfits, and that's it. And I was like, oh, that's what you do when you go on vacation. Just pack your very favorite stuff, and not the stuff you're like, maybe I'll wear this. And then ever since that, it's funny because men I've dated have always been really impressed. Like, as I was like, cool. They're like, wow, you're a good packer. I'm like, it doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah, I was talking to Irene about that this morning. Like, that is a thing that I've noticed that some men are very, very proud of. Victor's very proud of, like, oh, you're bringing more than just a change of underwear and a toothbrush for 6 days. It's like, yes, I'm checking a bag. Yeah.
I also, I roll all of my stuff up. I stuff, if I bring a hat, I fill the hat up with, like, I use every... I still bring a lot of stuff, don't get me wrong, but I've learned the tricks to pack as much as I can.
Well, get ready to see me in a suitcase I could live inside.
I don't know if you saw Craig's out there. He got a new merch suitcase.
That pink one?
Yeah, like
it's
I could
big.
definitely fit.
That's about the size of what I'm bringing to New York. All right. I really think it's these two and not this one.
Okay. I'll pick two as well. So we're just going to do a little collective energy. Oh my gosh.
And here comes
17 cards. You know what? I think these two cards that flipped up and these ones are all going.
Oh my gosh. I love these. I love these. I love these. I love these.
Might make a lot of sense for today's episode.
Okay. So
where do you want to start?
The first one is Lilith.
You know what? Working with Lilith is a big part of why I'm where I'm at now, I feel like, in my journey.
Totally. I said her name out loud yesterday for the first time.
Oh.
I was like, I invite in all the goddesses and
Lilith. Lilith, if you're out there, shout out. Thank you.
Recognize your own potential. I love this.
And I think it says independence on the top.
Yes, independence. And then this one says green Tara, protection. Your circumstances are shifting. You are protected. Begin to loosen your grip on fears and worries. Ooh, and then what are yours? And then
we can talk about them.
Yeah.
I have speak up. Use your voice to express yourself.
Oh, that's what you did this week.
Mystery. It says secrets and hidden meanings. I like to think of it as like leaning into the mystery of life and how that's fun and exciting. And dream. Build castles in the sky.
We talked all about dreams and speaking up and, recognizing your own potential. Ooh, being a little extra.
Boo, you're so weird. It's so cute.
She's like, what if I groom you? So the feeling that I got with protection was whatever changes you're going through, whatever changes I'm going through, and anybody in our collective community, if this applies to you, then it is for you. In all these shifts and all these transitions and all these changes, we are totally safe. I even wrote that on my Instagram today. I said something like you are safe to show up fully expressed, and you are safe to, I don't remember what else I said, but I just think it's like protection, not from anything bad happening, but protection as you enter into even more good. And then the independence, recognize your own potential. Just this, for me, that felt empowering. Like think about all the amazing things one can accomplish just on their own. Of course, it's always beautiful to have a partner, a best friend, a community, all these things, but like you are all you need.
You have all the tools, the knowledge, the power.
I love it. This isn't my deck, so I don't know what the little booklet says to go even deeper, but these cards feel quite profound with everything we just talked about. And I want to know your feelings over there, Sadie.
Well, speak up, mystery, dream. It feels confirming with your cards and what we talked about today, where it's just like, and we talk about this all the time, but speak up, admit to yourself and admit to others, and don't be afraid to express yourself and ask for exactly what you want. Asking yourself to give that to yourself, asking your partner, your work, your family, whatever it is. Maybe there's something everywhere that you need to speak up about, but letting go of the shoulds and thinking about the coulds, right? Like speaking up, like I could do that instead of I should do this. But what if you did that? What could happen? And knowing that, like, as you speak up, you are protected and you have everything you need to honor those desires and honor those truths that you're going to be expressing. The mystery card, it's got this little black cat staring at the moon. It's so cute.
It's Boo.
And I think it's just all about embracing that we don't know how life's going to play out. And sometimes that feels scary and it feels nerve-wracking, but actually that's what makes life worth living and what makes it exciting. Like, it'd be such a a bore to know how every second of every day was going to play out. So embracing the unknown, looking at it as like a game, like, well, you know what? This feels like a small desire that my ego is tempted to push away today. But what if I honored this desire today? Maybe I'd feel braver tomorrow to honor an even bigger desire. So embracing those mysteries, those breadcrumbs we were talking about, following them, and just getting excited about the unknown. Like, oh my God, anything could happen. And anything could happen, and allow yourself to dream, build castles in the sky. I feel like this is where it's leading up. It's like the timeline of like, well, what if you spoke up and embraced the unknown? Like, think of the endless possibilities. The symbolism on this is literally like this castle in the clouds. Like, you guys, anything is freaking possible. From the first episode when Juliet and I started this to like what we are doing now, like outside of just simply recording this, what we're up to now as a pair, as a duo, is insane. Yeah. We haven't even been able to share all of it with you, but even the stuff you do know, like going to Las Vegas and going to New York, like that's not something that we thought, oh, that's what could come of this. Like, we just spoke up, we spoke our truths, we sat down every day, even though at first it was like a little nerve-wracking. We were like, what are we even going to talk about? What if I mess up? What if I say something wrong? But now we're just embracing the unknown and embracing the mystery of life and following our wacky ideas and going after exactly what we want and speaking our truth. And I don't know where this is all going to take us, but it's going to take us somewhere really big and really cool. So dream, 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 speak up. And life is a game. Just play it. Have fun. Just have fun. Like, follow your desires. And see what happens. Like,
yeah,
it's exciting. It's fun. We're just excited about life right now. We're so happy you're here with us to be on this journey with us.
We're so happy you're here. And we have gifties for you.
Yes, we do.
So if you would like a very special, proven time and time again money spell, Sadie's one-of-a-kind money spell, you can access this. It's a gift from us to you. You go to our Instagram,
or you can just hit the link in the show notes.
Or the link in the show notes. Sadie usually does this part.
Yep.
And there's a link to sign up for our weekly love letter. We send you a card reading once a week and a goddess challenge. And it's very, very fun. It's a way to be an even deeper part of our community. And we'll send you this really amazing money spell. And we've already been hearing back that like it's working for people. So
yes. And if you go on Apple Podcasts, even if that's not where you normally listen, it helps us a lot if you go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. And we will send you our one of a kind. We made it. It's our voices. A goddess meditation. I love it. I've done it many, many times. I think it's super effective and dreamy. And all you have to do is go to Apple Podcasts, write your review, take a screenshot before you click submit because it kind of disappears for a minute. Then click submit, then email goddesshangs@gmail.com with that screenshot, and we'll reply back to you with the goddess meditation, usually within a few hours.
And it's a 10-minute meditation. It's so great. And it's perfect if you're like, I don't have time to meditate for an hour. Yeah, just do this for quick, 10 minutes.
It's grounding. Love it. It's effective. And guys, we haven't talked about this for a while, but we have a whole goddess handbook to share with you our favorite ways to embody goddess energy every single day. So there's spells, there's our favorite affirmations that really work. There's so much in this, and it's just a way to kind of take everything we've talked about in every episode and condense it into this little tangible thing, this little handbook that you can actually put into action. So you can buy that, and if you purchase the Goddess Handbook, you actually also get a discount code for my Basic Witch 101 course that's for all you, as they say, baby witches that are interested in witchcraft but don't know where to begin. It's got everyday magic, it's got money magic, it's got tapping into your intuition. It's a super fun self-paced course that you get access to forever. And when you purchase the Goddess Handbook, then because they go so perfectly together, I included a discount code so you can get the Basic Witch 101 for a wonderful deal. So make sure you're claiming all of your free gifts, and that's how to work with us a little bit closer. And make sure you are subscribed. Share this episode and or your favorite episode with a friend, because sharing is caring and helps us grow. And we can't wait to tell you about New York in the next episode.
New York.
Make sure you're following us on Instagram at Goddess Hangs. I am Sadie Olson.
I'm at Juliet.Piper.
We'll see you there. Bye.